What is happening, everybody? Welcome to State of the Art episode.
74,000.
You don't even know what episode we're on, Josh. What in the heck? We are episode 20, and we have a special guest that is going to be coming out here. I mean, I sort of gave it away with the name and the whole thumbnail and everything, but I do want to give a round of applause and a welcome to Joe Whale from Fox Forge Toys. Joe, hopefully I didn't mangle your last name. Whale?
You're close. Wild.
Damn it. It was
All
like
good.
one or the other. I had to go with one of them.
All good. Thanks for having me.
We do our research here at Unboxing Art.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the chat, and we were talking a little bit earlier. I could have just asked him then. Instead, I waited to,
Yeah.
That's all good.
But we do got some people in the chat. We got Chris, we got Judd, we got Ted Darkclaw from Hella Dope Toys. We got Skew Raider in the mix, and then we also got the friendly, the funny, the good old, the Canuck.
The Canadian from Arkansas.
The Canadian bacon. From Arkansas. Josh is making a profile on all the viewers. It's like, I know where you live, Canuck.
They're all like family at this point.
So, Joe, we sort of chatted back and forth a little bit on Instagram. I first came around and saw your stuff. Well, I saw my stuff through Toy Talk, which was Chris, which is Toy Father, No Chewing, because you were at the New Jersey Toy Con, right? That's when you did your full reveal of like your figures and stuff like that. And what really grabbed me at first was one, I mean, you did that exclusive Boba Fett, like, inspired. And I think your sound might be out. It's all right. You can play around with it until we hear.
There we go.
There we go.
Let's try that.
And then I think I can hear echo. I think it's me coming through your computer.
How's that? Is that okay?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
Okay.
So New Jersey Toy Con through the eyes of No Chewing. I think Yimbo reviews as well. They got a hold of your figures and they're like sending me stuff and they're doing the videos. They're just like posing around. They're like, look at the posability of these figures. And I'm like, that's pretty awesome. And then, talking to you, then I got a hold of the, what was it? I kept wanting to say Dark Templar, but it's not.
Oh, the Dread Ops, I think.
Dread Ops, yeah. Ops. And it right there, I was just like, it gave off, it just hit me where I was like, this reminds me of Exo Squad, sort of like that spacey themed of when I was playing with Exo Squad figures. It was like the pilots of Exo Squad, but bigger,
Yeah.
And so I was enjoying it, and so with Fox Forge, that was the first time I ever heard of your company. I mean, I could throw in some questions. Let's start with, what was your first toy that you remember as a kid that you got that just sparked the addiction?
Oh, wow. I mean, I probably have so many behind me that just cover those bases. If I had to think of one, it would probably be a snow speeder from Kenner, Power of the Force.
Okay.
Star Wars. I think that I remember vividly going to my local Caldors. Shout out to Caldors, no longer in business, like the Walmart of yesteryear. And I remember I was like mesmerized at that point with Star Wars, and that was like one of the first pieces that like a vehicle that I got. And that was it. I was hooked. I had the AT-AT. I had another snow speeder by next Christmas. And then I got into wrestling, and it just blew up from there.
Nice. I think a lot of people with Star Wars just got sucked into that line of figures when they came out. I know I had a pack of they did the 2-pack of Jawas.
Oh,
I had that hanging on a wall at some point, but I don't know. I misplaced them or somebody took them, but
Buff
I
Lando.
didn't want to open them because I love the Jawas.
Yeah, I had Buff Lando, had that. Yeah.
But so that was your starting of collecting. Then that evolved into like, what were your like some other things that you went from there?
And I mean, I'm a big wrestling fan, professional wrestling. So I remember I got into it real young, probably younger than I should have. Like, I remember like 6 or 7 watching it with my dad. And one of the first ones I got was one of the Hasbros, the WWFs, like
Okay.
like secondhand, and it was
ones like the Hulk Hogan had the arms that were
yeah, we had
yeah.
to raise the roof arms, and but it was Macho Man. I got Macho Man.
Macho Man.
I have him. He's up there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are some of the classics. They did re-release, and they made some more modern wrestlers into that style.
Oh yeah, well. I'm hooked on there too. I have those.
Yeah, I used to, growing up, it was like I had the big like rubber ones. They were just solid rubber.
Oh, the LGNs,
like,
yeah.
You used to have a bunch of those.
Those were weapons.
Even some of the thumb wrestler ones.
Oh yeah,
that were rubber. You'd stick your thumb in there and you'd have them on your thumb. But
stick your thumb up, Roddy Piper. You know.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, that's the great thing about the era that we grew up in is like we got the experience. Like I feel like it was the prime of toys as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's coming back as adults because we're those same people. They're like, yeah, as a kid we loved it, and now it's like we're getting so many different options and stuff's being revealed and stuff's hitting the nostalgia, and
for sure,
it's like I'm hoping that it doesn't just drop off after our generation. I'm hoping that we can continue with the growth and have people still collecting action figures and enjoying them.
I think it's gonna die, honestly. Well, I live with the next generation, and he wants nothing to do with action figures, toys.
It's all electronic. Yeah, I mean, I remember there's something that switched. I never stopped loving action figures. I've always collected them. But I remember at some point around the time the Nintendo, like not Nintendo, PlayStation, PS2 came out, there was like that shift of, oh man, I really want to get this new game, but I still got these WWE wrestlers coming out, so I had to like make the conscious decision. But yeah, no, there's definitely there's a switch coming for sure.
Yeah,
and I think everybody had that. Like it was like video games, and then they're like, all right, start getting into checking out girls and going into college, and then they're like, this isn't cool. Can't have my whole room looking like this. Yeah, and I'm like, now I'm just like, I don't care. Like it looks like little kids, puked in this like 40-year-old virgin type of collection going on, and like, I'm like, whatever. You don't like it, you can go. Whatever.
Yeah, but they're investment pieces. That's what my wife says. They're investment pieces. So.
Yeah, and, I got a lot of investment.
You guys got a good investment behind you for sure.
I mean, it's like action figures are action figures, but I look at them as like, since I went to school for art and stuff like that, so I look at everything as they're like little sculptures, works of art. Like I have posters on my wall that's behind my camera and everything. It's just like, it's art. I like surrounding myself by nostalgia and artwork and stuff. It's just inspiration. It's sort of like, somebody opened a door in a portion of my brain and walked in, and it's like, this is this little space.
Yeah, for sure.
And so what got you into, like, how did Fox Forge toys come about?
I mean, it was funny. It came about when I was in college. My partner and I, who's unfortunately not here, James, he couldn't make it. We met in college, and we're both cut from the same cloth. Like, he grew up Power of the Force Kenner, right into Clone Wars. So like when we met, it was I remember we met in college, one of those like awkward orientations, and we're standing across from each other, and you're supposed to say one thing, just one word that like you're supposed to feed off each other and then spark a conversation. The two of us, without missing a beat, both said Clone Wars.
Wow.
Hadn't met each other before, but I was just like, shot in the dark, I'm just gonna say Star Wars, just gonna put it out there in the universe, see what happens. And we were roommates for all 4 years. I mean, like how you just mentioned, like behind you guys and behind me, like that was, our dorm. Like that's what it looked like. We always had the newest action figures that came out in the summer, always on our mantles. Our windows were covered in them, comic books. And we both met our wives there, so like our lives were rooted. And so they kind of got mixed together, and we both just had dreams of making action figures and toys and comics. And that's kind of where it all started, like, slowly back in 2012. 2012 is when we first met.
You guys had that Step Brothers moment. That's what it was. It's like you both are throwing out dinosaurs. You're like, wait, we just become best friends. Yep.
We did have bunk beds at one point, so that does check out. Yeah.
Hopefully it didn't collapse on one another.
No, we went behind the room and did karate, pumpkins, the whole thing. Yeah, that's where it happened, and it just kind of blossomed from there. We both had ideas, and it's just, I remember it never stopped. We always kept thinking about some other idea. Both artists, so we were both drawing together, going to classes, and I guess that was where kind of Star Dusk slowly came from. Was that?
Okay, so you guys sort of came from a art background. Is that what you guys went to school for?
Yeah, actually, he went to school for graphic design and business, and I went on the opposite end. Kind of, I went for art therapy, but we had similar classes in graphic design, and he ended up going, and after we graduated, he worked at Toys R Us headquarters here in Wayne, in New Jersey. So that's kind of where the business came into play. But me, I went the opposite, and I became a teacher. So
that works.
like we kind of, and then at some point we just pooled everything together. We both had resources that we could bring to the table, and we both had different things. And that's where it kind of started, I think, was after college.
So you guys had that sort of moment that we all did when Toys R Us finally was like closing the doors. And
yeah, I remember it was even harder, I think, from the inside perspective, because you could kind of see that like there was this big market that was just going to be gone, like virtually just non-existent. Like there are Toys R Us's in where we live in New Jersey. There were at least 5 or 6 within like a 15-mile radius. So, and we always did that. Like we that was our summer thing. We'd come home from college, we would hit the tons of toys in Wyckoff. Then we go to Toys R Us, and then we go to Target, go to the next Toys R Us, and we would just keep hitting these spots. And then when they shut down, it was just kind of like the only thing that was left was like the Walmarts and the Targets, and that was kind of it. There was this big hole that was left.
Yeah, and then GameStop started trying to pick up some of the slack with some of the stuff they were doing, and I'm just like, why couldn't Toys R Us just do that? They could have just like opened it up to a lot more of the adult collecting stuff, the more NECA stuff, like just open up a lot bigger instead of, and maybe reduce down the kiddie stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I think this year Toys R Us is opening a bunch of stores, so like not Macy's, but just new stores.
Yeah. I went to the one in Macy's not too long, like right before the holidays, and it definitely hit the nostalgia factor. Like you walked into that little space and you're like, oh yeah, this kind of has the same vibe, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I think there's like 10 major cities are getting like an actual store. So
yeah.
Hopefully it's not some like virtual reality experience. Like you have to go in wearing VR goggles and you gotta pay for all your stuff in V-Bucks or something ridiculous.
I feel like that would get more kids to go with this generation.
That's true. What does Toys R Us get an exclusive Fortnite skin?
Yeah, virtual Toys R Us.
We got some questions. Ted Dark Claw says, Joe, who's your favorite wrestler? Because he is wearing his Macho Man shirt.
Oh, favorite wrestler right over here.
The Rock, okay.
I got Dwayne, baby. Dwayne The Rock, always been. He was actually my first wrestler that I got from Walmart when it took over Caldors. And so I still have it. It's somewhere around here. Definitely The Rock and Macho Man. Those are my two big ones.
The Canuck said he's wearing his Salamandroid shirt from EVS.
From EVS. Nice.
And then Judd was saying, he said, collecting will absolutely die with us. Kids don't want toys these days.
Over my dead body.
I can't even give my kid I try to give him a cool Ninja Turtle, and he's like, "No, I'm okay. I don't want it."
But you give him the game, that's probably different.
Oh no, it's like Robux and shit now.
Roblox, yeah, that's a big one.
Chris said Triple H is his favorite.
Triple H.
It's with the whole Roblox and Fortnite stuff, it's crazy just to see how much money these kids have like put into these games for stuff that's like, when the new version comes out, all that stuff's going to be pointless. Like, you just spent hundreds of dollars on virtual stuff. Yeah, you're not going to carry it over. They're not going to give you your money back. It's like, at least when we were kids, if we got over some of the toys, which I regret as I got older, I was like, man, if I would have kept those. But you know, our parents could have garage sales, you know, and sell them or whatever. Like, this virtual stuff is just, it's nothing.
You have it. That's it. Like, you can't really sell that, you know?
And it's like, I don't even know if you really own it either, with like some of the stuff that you have to read before you play a video game now. You have to accept this. You have to accept this.
I think thinking about making the Roblox shirts and stuff. I'm going to make some, put them on there. Maybe I'll make some money.
Yeah, I mean, but it's so cool. Like, I was thinking about it the other day. I was talking with somebody about Roblox and Fortnite. It's like this weird cycle that they have the whole market in, where, you know, kids will go and buy the skins and the virtual stuff, but then the companies like Jazzwares and Hasbro, then they're turning around and churning out the action figures.
Yep.
And so that's kind of keeping us in the game, because, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I have a man cake. Like,
I mean, I think we all have man cake.
He's a pancake man. Like, I'm not gonna have that. Like, that, I don't even have the skin. Like, I play Fortnite sometimes. I don't even have the skins that I own. Yeah, like,
yeah, we all have them. Like, I have some Jazzwares. I started with like the the hot dog guy, and then Doggo, and then I evolved it getting Meowscles, and then I got the Hasbro Meowscles. I got Sky. I got all these ones. I'm like, I don't really play Fortnite like that, but the character designs are just awesome in figure form.
Yeah, they're toyetic. That's the thing, and that's what keeps, you know, the kids and I guess the customers engaged. Is as long as it looks cool, you don't even have to know the dude's name. You just, I want that, you know.
I want a cowboy made of pancakes with a bandolier of butter sticks. I mean, why not? Like,
why not? Yeah, it's just such a crazy. I'd love to be in the writing rooms of whoever is making these Fortnite characters, because that's got to be like some Rick and Morty stuff. Like, just,
you can just do whatever you want. It seems. Like.
Yeah. Just whatever, no holds barred. Just, all right, we're gonna make this dude. He's gonna be a hamburger. That's it. Yeah. All right. All right.
I feel like that's what Pokemon should do. Stop being all weird with some of their designs and just have fun with it and start making some crazy, goofy stuff. Like, I feel like as Pokemon even evolves, like, you're like, I remember when they first started, they're like simplified, they're cool, and then now they're getting all like weird and technical and crazy looking. It's like,
well, that's what it is. It's all technical now. It's all like web-based things and wacky computer Pokemon and stuff. It's
I want an abstract looking Pokemon. I want it's like, if it's a leaf Pokemon, have some leaves coming out of it, or like something that, you know, part of its class. Let's see. We got Ted saying toy collecting is going to skip a generation. When I have a grandkid, we're going to have years of memories full of Motu and Turtles. Then I'll put them into $80 retail Marvel Legends. Man, that's what scares me about these G.I. Joe drops, because all those Joes that were dropped today, like, they all look like they're deluxes and they're going to be heavy hitting.
Yeah.
All those 2-packs, that's a easy $80 a piece. Snow Job.
Oh, Snow Job, yeah.
Snow Job's probably 40.
Yeah. I'm hoping 33, but
I'm thinking, Snow Job. They got me for Torpedo. They got a lot of.
They got me for all of them.
They got a lot of the ones that I've been sitting on. Like I just got Sergeant Slaughter over the winter break, and that was like the second one that I got. And once I got him in hand, I was like, oh no, am I gonna go down this rabbit hole?
It's hard not to.
Nice.
I mean,
you just got, you know.
Oh yeah, because it's all like it's all figures that I had growing up, and now they're doing like the cool nostalgia, like callback to the like that's just.
Like these are all Joe's here, and it goes all the way back. And then
they did a course correction, which they needed to at the beginning. Like I would have been okay with just seeing what they could have, what some of the freedoms they would have had at the beginning. They would have kept with it, but
I love these guys. These guys came out really cool.
Yeah,
I have a couple with gappy arms, but whatever.
Yeah, you got them early ones.
Yeah. RG is in the mix. He said, "Welcome, Joe."
Oh, thank you.
And Judson, unless we got some Ready Player One game world online games going that also may play on smartphones with crazy mode features, I agree with Way of the Dodo is nothing of interest.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things.
But yeah, that is some awesome stuff. But we're going to dive in. Let's just take a look at your website. I want to bring that up because if you guys aren't familiar, so we've been saying the Fox Forge toys the whole time. Let me do this bigger. All right. So your first line from Fox Forge Toys is Star Dusk.
Star Dusk.
So what do you want to tell us about it?
Oh man, how
did this come to be?
Yeah, I was about to say, how can I condense 4+ years of world? I mean, it all started right after Toys R Us went out, and there was this big void, and we had been thinking about this idea, ideas back and forth, whatever, and then James, my partner, came to me with this one sketch of a character, and it was our character Dost with the pointy ears, green. He was the first one. Yeah, and he came to me and he showed me this, and he was like, we've been talking about this, going into a line, starting this thing, since college, and he already started talking to a designer, and we kind of started pulling things together, and he was like, I have, this idea for this guy, and let's see what we can do. So he brought me in, and then it went to Razek, which is the guy with the horns and the shotgun. And then we just kind of started building out the characters one by one. And then by the fifth one, we took a step back and we were like, all right, we have all these characters, but we kind of don't really have the story. Like we kind of went backwards. So we went with the characters, and then the story kind of came after as we were like tweaking them. And all the while we got into 3D printing to kind of like start doing the stuff on our own. So Stardust kind of came about right around the time too that the SpaceX program started. And so we were like doing sketches and stuff and watching, these Elon Musk rockets going, into space and to the moon, and him talking about commercializing, the moon and Mars.
Dropping your packages off on Mars.
Yeah, like like all the wacky stuff that the dude was just spewing out at the time, and we were just thinking, and we were like, it was kind of cool, but at the same time, we were like, both talking, it was a little unnerving. Like you're thinking about it, like the guy's talking about, business, in space, and like what can that lead to, and what are the consequences of that? What would humanity really do if left to our own devices, we could just leave?
Well, you also got to think of it too as like if he just decided to go to Mars and said it's his, who's there to tell him no?
Yeah, there's no receipt on Mars. Like you fly to Mars first, like sure. Yeah.
He's supposedly like sending like 3D printers and stuff like that to Mars and stuff.
Yeah, like it's no joke. The guy, like that's the thing. Listen, it's the whole concept of these very powerful, wealthy individuals with no government constraints, very limited government constraints, an unlimited supply of wealth, resources, what have you. They can pretty much get anything they want. So you tweak that and you give them this boost in technology, they can virtually go anywhere. And so we kind of just kept talking about that back and forth, and we really started to think about, like, we went back into history to look at, all the different evolutionary big milestones. And that's kind of where Stardust just burst. It was this idea of, if humans, went out, and, what would happen if, when we hit interstellar, and we can go to all these different planets and galaxies, and, what's the next course of action? Well, we got to make money. We got to survive, so there's going to be that involved. There's going to be, powerful royal families involved. There's going to be chaos and turmoil and greed and, all those things that come with power, with who we are. Yeah, it got dark while we were writing it. Like, I remember we were like typing it out, and we're staring at these action figures in front of us, and we were like going back and forth. And at one point, the story went like real south, and it got very dark, and we were like, all right, maybe we have to reel this back a little bit. But like, we were peeling the pieces back, and that's kind of where it came about. Like, just us thinking about the possibility, a plausible future for humanity. Yeah, it's kind of where it started.
Nice. We got Ski Raider. These are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Those figures look nice. And then Judd rubbing me in my face. I'm familiar. I shared them in your Facebook. You did.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Toy shelf would not be boring, that's for sure. Just like when growing up, something's different. Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Christopher Giddens saying he likes the guy with the two massive guns.
Oh yeah. Zeno. Yeah, we're coming out with Wave 2 with the rest of the aliens and the big guys and stuff. So we started with the troopers and the main character, the guy who's in the center, Commander Alder, just because he kind of sets the story, in motion. And yeah, I mean, we grew up, James and I, playing, Doom and Halo, all those things, watching Battlestar Galactica, and all these things just kind of came together and helped us formulate the designs, and just kind of paying homage to that old school 80s campy big hand hero characters. Totally just awesome. They got everything they need to get the job done.
Wow. We know where this mouth inspiration came from. Come on. Was it Behind Enemy Lines? Is that what it is?
Yep.
I always wanted to know what those little green things. I was like, those look like giant, like Jellos. Like, what do they taste like? Ted Darkclaw from Hello Dope Toys says, do you sell to online retailers? And if so, how does one inquire about that?
Yeah, actually, that's our wholesale program is one that we're really proud of, because we've been able to expand that. That's what I do. I'm the sales operations manager. So my job is to get it into different retailers. So, shoot me an email. I can leave my info, but that's one of the things when the toys came out that we really wanted to kind of focus on, because that's something that's, I feel like it's not the same nowadays. Like, you have a toy, it drops online, and you can buy that anywhere. But I feel like James and I both felt it's more meaningful if a toy comes out and somebody can go to their local retailer and buy it off the shelf. Like, you don't have to wait for shipping, and we would make more money if they came to us. But there's, we wanted it to be, so we have retailers in West Virginia, we have retailers in California, Australia, we have a big retailer. So we just we wanted to get to a lot of different places,
I'll need that info too. So.
Yeah, for sure. Always welcoming new retailers, online, brick and mortar. The more the merrier.
I think I'm gonna do conventions. I want to have.
Oh yeah, I mean, I booked us through 2023 with conventions, like at least once a month. So, my poor wife, she's our story writer, so she's the one who helped formulate the comic and everything, and brilliant with helping us. But every time I would be on my phone, I would yell out to her, "I think I found another convention for us," and she would go, "Oh, jeez."
Ski Raider having some fun over here. All right. Fifth dimensional bookshelf with pushable and message watches. And then he said the Road Station creator, a favorite dial maker, will love these. I want to see them all over that setup.
Oh, nice. Yeah. We next month starting ZoloCon in Pennsylvania. That's where we'll be.
Oh, you might see a buddy of ours, Archie. I think might be going to ZoloCon.
Yeah. We've heard a lot of people that have been saying that they're going to see us there. So we're going to have some figures there. We're going to have some cool, different things, and we're going to have the exclusive preview comic as well. That will be there. So got some cool stuff.
I got some.
So could Ted and myself message you through maybe Instagram? Would that work? Or
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely answer from there.
So we got ourselves Commander Alder right here.
Yep, and we got a promotion right now because the preview comic came out. So any purchase on the website figures, you get that comic, and they're flying. They're really cool.
You get the
different weapons. The helmets are so cool, though. I love that the helmets actually go on and come on.
Yeah.
Head swap.
And that was one of the things, too, when we were designing it, because, like I said, James, business background, but we're also collectors. So when we were designing this, we were thinking about, like, one, how do we make a figure that's affordable? Everybody can buy it, and it's like at conventions, we have kids that would come up to us with like a $20 bill and they would want to buy it. They're retail for $25, but oh yeah, dude. Yeah, take it. So like we want them to get into people's hands.
You just you're short, little man. Come back with mom.
Scram.
That was if they came back for another one. That's like, all right, put the squeeze.
This is the Dread Ops that I did a review on. Anybody that's wanting to see some hands-on, I got my Dread Ops review, and this one is awesome. I liked how you guys did like the mix of matte and gloss.
Yeah, the matte. People seem to like that. The Dread Ops, the matte, because everybody else had the shine.
I like Alder's colors too. I'm a neon green type of person.
Yeah,
I like that too. But what sold me was on these guys is I like their little like Sub-Zero ninja mask sort of look.
Yeah, I mean, even with Commander Alder, like his entire color scheme was just kind of designed and came out of like us thinking about the old school neon retro, arcade games that we would go and play, all the lights and the flashing greens and the reds and the things that would pop out, and this all those kind of things came together. And then with the troopers too,
even like the Reaper, bright like yellow. And you guys definitely know how to like add your accents too. It's like, all right, we got this darker red, and then you got the yellows, the little spots that just pop.
And every little bit while we were designing it, because we do, like I said before, we collect figures. That's what how we started. So we were thinking about, we need this articulation to go here. It needs to work like this. We can't, we have to put these here, and this accent is going to make this pop, and we need to get this paint done by the factory. And there was a lot of trial and error that went with it. Like I think we probably had at least 5 rounds of samples just for the wrists alone. Like we were like testing different materials and different things just to make sure the wrists like weren't pop off or wouldn't break. So there was a lot that went into them.
See, with the wrist, I'm not gonna lie. When I got them in hand, I'm like, man, what's going on? And then I'm like, I looked closer, and then I loved what you guys like. Those are like real spacesuits. How they have like the clamp that clamps around to get the airtight seal. And I was like, that makes sense. Like you guys went into that little bit of detail.
And you're one of like, I think 5 people that have called that out. Every time I get so excited because that was something we really thought about. Like because I would do the initial sketches and then we'd send it to our designer and they would kind of like put it into 3D form. But James and I were saying, no, we're like, oh yeah, spacesuits that you're not just going to have a glove and then nothing else. Like you got to have the clamp and you have to have the little dots. And then, so like every little bit was a call out like we had to have in the design.
Relevant Hulk says looks good, and then the Divine Serp says 10 out of 10. If you don't have any of these, buy them now.
Thanks.
Black Knight says I need the one on the far left.
Oh, he's talking about the big alien with the shotgun.
Oh yeah, Zurge.
And then Judd says, your figures remind me of the figure companies released in the early 80s to compete with Star Wars.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Ted's saying $80 Marvel Legends are likely future, which is why we prefer new independent toy lines.
Yeah, independent's the best right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like when we were designing these, in the initial stages, they had, different hand sculpts that we were thinking about and different heads. And we were kind of like kicking it back and forth. Like, do we want to do that? Do we, there's that market for it. But then they're going to be more expensive. So now, it's going to be like $30, $35, something like that, which we just didn't want. Like we wanted it to just be this figure. You go into a store, you buy it, you have your accessories with it. They work or compatible with all the other guys. That's it. Just have fun. Let your imagination go. And we've seen some cool stuff that toy photographers have been able to do. People that make dios. We've been working with Lone Wolf Customs to do our dioramas. I'm actually picking up a new one that we commissioned from him on Saturday.
He should be shipping mine out pretty soon too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't wait. So like, I had to meet him, so we're gonna do that. But like, we just wanted them to look cool, be affordable, but be durable, and that's where the testing came in. Just really making sure they could handle,
Well, eventually, all you independent toy creators are gonna get bought, which I hope you guys do. Take all their money,
I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, tell them like I just want to be, all the decisions have to end with me.
Yep.
Yeah,
on the toy line, and you can send me a check to this address. Yeah.
And then Ted wants to know: are you going to PowerCon? Is that one of the?
PowerCon is not one. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go. That's just a little too far for us. Right? I think that one's in. I think that's in Georgia. I think it's at Atlanta, somewhere in that area. I think.
Well, see, what I'm going to probably buy a case of these, and then I'll have them, and Star Dusk will be represented in Colorado. Then.
Oh, there we go. I mean, listen, I have family in Arvada, so that's. I have plans on going out there at some point and doing a couple conventions.
Nice. I got a local one about an hour for me in Grand Junction. So
Grand Junction, yep, yeah. I was looking at that one.
And they've been the traffic's been getting more and more every year. So I think it'll be good.
I think that's a lot of conventions nowadays. It's getting a lot more foot traffic, which is cool.
Now, Chris did ask. He's like, "Do you have any plans for any play sets or vehicles for figures?"
Sure. I mean, we have so many different. That's the thing about the 6-inch figures is there's kind of a fine line you got to be able to walk with the vehicles, because that's, you said at the beginning, we're an indie toy company. We're not the likes of Hasbro with, just endless amounts of cash to tool out for molding and stuff. Like we have to be strategic. So for the 6-inch,
they get all this shit for cheaper too.
Yeah.
So apparently PowerCon's in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. Oh, I don't know which one.
That may not be too far.
That's not too far. I mean, that's a nice road trip. Yeah, I mean,
saying Empire Toy Works. That's the name I blanked on. If you aren't working,
Empire Toy Works, yeah.
But yeah, that's so Ohio, maybe, you know,
maybe. I got a couple friends out there. Could pay them a visit, sell some figures.
And then you guys even did like a do-it-yourself.
Yeah.
For the customizers out there, just a straight up blank that you can get.
We've seen
look at that price, $15.
Yeah.
And he comes with all the same. He comes with a gun. Was it
2 guns?
The shotgun and the pistol.
And the pistol and the helmet, yeah.
And he's the ninja head.
Well, I think that's kind of the thing now that a lot of companies, not just indie, are doing these artist-proof blank figures. You know, it's a twofold. It's one, it's a cheap, quote-unquote colorway that's not a colorway. It's just right off the manufacturing line, and there's no paint on it, so it's cheap. But at the same time, it's cool because you get this new untapped market of painters and designers who just like blow my mind with what they're able to do with these figures. It's insane. Some of the things that people have come up to us at shows that they've shown us, and it's awesome to see it.
Yeah, I see a lot with like even like the Mythic Legions realm of collectors.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. Like those guys, I mean, that's like, okay, you played Warhammer, Warhammer Fantasy or 40K because you're busting out skills beyond, and some of the stuff is amazing. So I definitely see a lot of customizing capabilities, add a little bit of drilling, just give them some battle damage and all that type of stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, the possibilities are endless. And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to keep the price point, cheap for those guys, was because, at the end of the day, it's an unpainted figure. So we want to see what you can do. And, if you, let's say, you knock it up or something, or you don't do it right, $15, you're not out that much. You can, fix it, get another one, do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
And even got your little accessory pack here.
$10.
You get 4 pistols, 2 of the shotguns, and what are those, like scanners? Like,
yeah, the tablet scanners. Yeah, we got
Is that a translucent plastic in the middle, or is it green?
No, it's like it's kind of like a neon green.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let me bring you up full screen. I'll add you full screen.
I bet you could take like a dry erase marker and write and draw stuff on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen people do that with in post, editing for their photos. Like we've seen them use the tablets and like put like holograms and stuff on it, coming up. So cool stuff. Like it's really awesome what people can do.
And I mean, these are crazily, affordable.
Yeah,
like, this is
great price points.
Yeah, that was one thing that we felt we really had to do, and we have, ideas for deluxe lines, so that's not out of the question, or even for a different, brand, not Star Dusk. Like we want to do, the deluxe figures with butterflies and other, different hands and heads and stuff. But for these guys to start, we thought it was important to just keep it universal. Everybody can get in on that line.
It sort of answers Ted's question. He's like, is the $25 price point across the board for all figures, or does it vary depending on the figure?
Nope, no, it's 25 except for the blank, that's 15. The figures that come out next, the only guy that there are a couple of guys that will be deluxe figures that'll probably be teetering closer to 30. But that's like the Zerg, like the big guy with the gun. That's something, yeah, you can't avoid that. He's a big dude.
And this curator said DIY is awesome with that new RPG game from Animal Warriors of the Kingdom available. Buy it, paint up your character, and have at it. Too awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they're talking about Cleveland versus Columbus, but whatever. Now, who the heck did this artwork here? Who drew these up?
Our guy David from I always forget how to pronounce his name. Phobia. I forgot, but he's out in where is he? Belgium, I think, or somewhere around there. And he actually does. It might look familiar to a lot of people, but he does a lot of the box artwork for like Warhammer and those tabletop games. So
that's pretty awesome. Like I was looking at it, I was like, all of these are impressive as heck. And I love how you guys have like the bios and stuff like that. I can't wait to see some of these aliens in hand. And I mean, example being, I mean, you can't really see it that, but like, giving ideas of like, all right, how this is drawn and everything. It's like you get the blank version of these, and you could sort of paint it as detailed as this and stuff. Like,
and that's kind of, and it was cool watching because he would send us, behind the scenes of his, digital process of him doing it, and it was awesome because you had on one screen it was like split. You had him working on our stuff, and then the other screen was him working on like box artwork for like the new 40K orcs or something, and you just like, oh my god, that's awesome! Like just him going back and forth, really cool.
And the digital painting like this, the realism like that, I'm always jealous of because I'm always like a Rat Fink cartoony-ish sort of style.
Yeah.
But like when I lived in Michigan, hit the Motor City Comic Con a bunch of times and had a table with a friend of mine that was selling his trade paperback. But we were next to a friend of his that he knew, his name was Chris Scalf. He worked for Dark Horse Comics, and he did all like the artwork for all the Boba Fett comics.
Oh,
and so he was just at the realism digital painting was just phenomenal. So those covers that you saw with those Dark Horse. The Jango Fett, the Boba Fett series that Dark Horse was doing, he did all of that.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's just insane. But these are just gorgeous.
No, he did a great job with it, and the poster prints that we have of them are even like it's just so beautiful when you see it like printed on in that form. It looks even better.
Now, which of these characters would we be seeing in the next wave?
So we'd be seeing Dost, up there, and then below you got Razek, and then not them exactly, I'll say, but you're gonna see the Zerg species and Xeno in the next wave that we're looking at.
And you guys gonna try to pull off like this glow look on it?
We're trying a couple different things. We have some ideas with the factory. And see what happens. We got a lot of different idees that we're gonna try.
Almost do like a translucent like turquoise plastic and then paint over that.
It was funny when we started this line 3D printing them over the pandemic, 2020, because we had we were going to go to shows and stuff, and we were going to 3D print the figures and just limited articulation. So I don't know if I have one, but they have. Oh yeah, they had 5 points of articulation, and we were doing the boxing ourselves, me and James, and our significant others. And inside, they were hand painted, resin, and boxed up. And I think we probably went through like 400 or so around there.
Wow.
And we sold those like between May 2020 and like November, and they all sold. So like we don't make those anymore that are 3D printed and hand painted. But when we were doing it for Xeno, the guy we were just talking about, there were a couple out there. So I don't know anybody that's listening or anybody that has it, but there were a couple out there that I think there was like maybe 5 or so that we added glow in the dark UV paint to like the lines and stuff that we like airbrushed on, and then went in with the fine detail like 0.01 .01 millimeter paintbrush, and so when you turn the lights out and you hit it, it like blows up. Like it looks
That's an awesome idea too. Like have it glow paint.
Yeah,
Black, that would be great. And Ted was saying that the $30 in 2023 is a solid for a deluxe, you know.
yeah.
Inscurator being goofy. Thou dost offend me as DOS does something otherworldly. And then Chris was saying, you guys should do a DIY contest and winner gets their figure added to your line of figures. Just an idea.
That would be awesome, actually. I just spoke. I went to a couple weeks ago. My old art teacher, who has her students, you know, that she has classes throughout the week, and she has a school. And I went there and I gave a talk to like the kids, and so I brought like a bunch of figures for them, and you know, I gave them figures, I gave them, you know, comics and stuff, and I gave them one of these and the DIYs. I like broke off the pieces, you know, separated them. And I had them paint, you know, each individual piece. And when I go back next time, I'm going to piece it together for them and get like an exclusive packaging for them.
Oh, nice.
So
That's pretty awesome.
I think that would be cool to do some sort of contest like that for sure.
Curators, the DIY contest would rock.
Yeah.
And then Ford saying he loves Zeno's design.
Oh yeah. Definitely a fan favorite, and totally doable with the double jointed elbows that we have on the figures that pose.
Yeah, nice. That is awesome. So all right, so we got 3. Well, and then these ones are already out.
Yeah.
So basically, it'll be there's 4 technically. Dost, these 3, and then or a version of this in a way.
Yeah.
Of that type of faction or race. But that's awesome. That is awesome. I like the website. It works really well. Even got here.
The comics, the Founders Edition. That's all of the 3D printed figures that we went through over the years.
Oh,
here's a little teaser of what Dost figure would sort of look like.
Yeah, and that was him. 5 points of articulation. That was an exclusive we did a couple months ago. That we did a really short run of them that just sold out.
He's like a little stocky guy.
Yeah, I mean the ones that will translate to like, you know, the super articulated form, we had to like modify the design so you could have like the articulation, because like when we were doing 3D printing ones, we were like, oh yeah, they're all just gonna have the same swivel, you know, head rotation. That's it. Not gonna have to think too much about it. But once we sent the designs to the factory and we were kind of like, they were giving us feedback like, hey, if you want these guys to move, you're gonna have to like, you know, if you want a statue, you know, we'll make you a statue. But if you want them to be articulated, we got to kind of think of some different ways here to go around it. So, you know, we had to reuse designs here and there and kind of get it done that way.
Everybody starting off has to reuse this design and stuff. Like, you got to get some stuff out there to start getting that flow, that cycle back in, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is cool. Big old plasma cannon. I almost would love to see. You could almost do like a translucent green. I don't know. It probably wouldn't be that easy to do, but translucent green plastic in there just to add even more, less paint, but probably be more costly.
Yeah. We got a lot. Yeah. We got
you already have those translucent pistols, and the one that you had that was right next to you, those like red pistols. Yeah.
That resin, that was all resin, all 3D printed.
Oh, here's a Xeno tease for people.
Bar none, he was the most difficult to paint. Hand paint.
He has a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys designed them that way, so.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the thing. We kind of like went, it was one thing, there were different stages. It was one thing when we designed them and they were just blank renders, and we were like, these look awesome. I love the designs. They're all different. They're cool. They're unique. And then there was a separate phase of when we started to get the paint together, and we're like, oh, this is going to be kind of a challenge. And we went with it. We were like, all right, we got to get this done. We got to hand paint all of these. We got to box them up. We got to get them out. So
Lots of caffeine and lack of sleep, I'm sure.
I mean, down here in the office that I have, I vividly remember in the thralls of lockdown, there was a point where you literally weren't allowed to go outside. Like, we couldn't walk around our neighborhood or go to the park. So I had to paint, and I would paint, I'm a teacher, so I would paint until like sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning, get up and do my Zoom calls, with my students, and then go back to painting and just keep doing it over and over again. Me and my wife just painting around the clock.
Almost have your own like assembly line. I'll paint this, shift it over to you. You paint this, just keep shifting it.
That's literally what it was like until one night, and I'll never forget it. A storm came, and I remember hearing upstairs this loud crash. And I went downstairs, and all of the figures that I painted the morning before cracked.
No,
because they're all resin, and it was a different resin than the one we use now. Now we use a sturdier one, but the first run we did, they all fell over. It was like, I think there was probably 50 on that table.
Ooh.
They all just cracked.
I would have cried.
Oh, I did. Yeah, for sure.
Razak looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the design. I like a bigger upper body, and then like the smaller legs, bottom half.
Yeah. He's a spindly guy. He's a cool, lanky looking alien. Those are my favorite kinds. I like the thinner, non-proportional aliens. Like those to me, that gets my eye.
Yeah, either have them like all like weird and disproportionate, or have them giant and hulking.
Yeah, I mean, we had to have the muscle of the group. Bad Batch has Wrecker. You gotta have.
That is true.
Gotta have someone there when stuff goes down.
So then you had all that. You have your comic books. You have your shirts.
Yeah. We and the comic book we have. Like I said, we have the preview that we're gonna be releasing. Online.
Solo out. Hang on.
Yeah, but right now we have the Kickstarter going. Oh yeah, we have the Kickstarter going for issues 1 and 2, and I mean the artwork in it is just like the guys that we worked with. He did an awesome job, and the artist too, Doc Rock, that did the cover art. It came together, and we think it's gonna be a cool read. We're excited to hopefully get that out. At some point.
And speaking of, we got the Kickstarter.
There we go.
So we got 15 days left. So we can get this, make it happen. And got using that awesome artwork right there.
Yeah. That's the exclusive for a Kickstarter.
And I'll be linking all the stuff in this description of the stream. I'll have the link for the website, link for the Kickstarter, so we can try to make sure this thing is just taking off, because you guys aren't even really asking.
Thank you.
Like your Kickstarter minimum mouse. It's like, wait, what? Like you're not asking for like almost $1 million, like those one dude, the Odd Frog people making cars are like, $780,000 for this Kickstarter. Like, what are you talking about?
Are you guys funded on this yet?
Almost. We're I think 67% funded. 67. Okay. Yeah, we're just there.
So we need about $1,500 more.
Yeah, we're just about there. But we're persistent. It's one of those things that it's gonna come out, no matter what. We just wanted it to come out, as it is. Get it done. Nothing crazy, no thrills. Just you want comics. We got the comic up there. You want the exclusive figure. That's gonna be up. That's a really cool translucent green. We got the trading card. There's a little bit of everything there for everybody.
Now, are we this translucent green? I know this is like your 5 point, or it's 3.25 inch too.
Yeah.
Is that going to end up transitioning into the 1/12 scale?
We could definitely do. We actually did something similar. One of the colorways we did over the pandemic was a translucent green. So this would be the first in 3 3/4 scale that goes with Star Wars and old school G.I. Joe. but they're cool, you know. Same posing, 5 points of articulation. So a little bit of something there for everybody, I think, with that Kickstarter.
For sure. I just want to see this translucent green in the fully articulated mode. That would be awesome. I'm a sucker for that green. I'm a sucker for neon green.
Well, it's like the Plunderlings. They've got that market covered with the translucents. They got
the drench. The drench.
I got a few. I got a few. They're one of our friends. They definitely helped us. And it's funny. We do similar conventions. So sometimes we're, whenever we are at conventions, we seem to always be like booth mates with them. So like it's cool. Like throughout the years, we've shown each other like the stuff that's coming out, and we've kind of helped each other with different things. So it's cool that there's that indie community of collectors. Same thing with Jason, Spiro Studios. Jason's helped us. We've given him advice. Landon from Invincible Toys, Bobby, Valaverse, like we've all kind of just helped each other throughout the years.
Yeah, and Ted said there's nothing wrong with reuse when it's done right. But I was raised on Motu figures, so maybe it bothers me less than others. That's true. Motu reused like crazy.
Like crazy from the Big Jim line of cats and whatnot.
This is definitely something Black Knight and I will be doing our homework on. The figures look amazing. We'll need to buy one and get a real feel for it.
Thank you. Yeah, and that was the thing too. Like we wanted them to have like a good sturdy feel. Like I remember getting an action figure as a kid, and my first thing that I would go up, because I was my psycho mind. My first thing, I get it out, and I'm like, oh man, this is too light. This is gonna break. But if it had like some weight to it, like a good, like a Star Wars figure or like a vehicle or something, if it had good weight to it, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Like the wrestlers, like when Jakks Pacific made the WWE wrestlers, those guys were beefy and they had weight to them. And I like that because, when I'm playing around with them, you got to make sure they hold up. So that was something we took into consideration when we made these.
Yeah, I mean the Kickstarter, we could try to make it. Anybody into comics want a exclusive little 3 3/4 inch translucent green Star Dusk figure? I mean,
really cool. Yeah,
let's get it up there. They're not asking for $1 million. Aim to do that.
Yeah, just want to get it done.
Any help, pretty much. Reasonable. Yeah, the artwork in the comic looks great. The covers look great.
Yeah.
I was like, when I saw it, I was like, okay, let's see this, because I'm like, let me check a look. And you guys have some killer comic artists on there. The artwork looks great.
Yeah, we've worked with over the years. We've worked with a lot of cool designers from Ukraine that did the artwork for our banner on our website. We worked with, like I said, David, and just a lot of cool people. A letterer, so many different artists that we've had the opportunity to work with. Really, really talented.
Yeah, that stuff is awesome. Anybody have questions for Joe while we're on here? I know we were going through a lot of that stuff. I'm pretty stoked to see the aliens, and when they come out, it's just what you guys have. And I love the idea of like, as an independent company, you got to get something out there, and then you guys got your first line of figures. It was hitting everybody at New Jersey, and that's what I was like, wait, let me see, what is that? I was bummed. I was like, I missed out on the Boba Fett one, and I was like, at least I got the black and matte one. That one's good.
Yeah,
we fun to pose around. I got him into some good poses in my review, and
yeah. I mean, I have Boba Fett here using some stuff from Fresh Monkey Fiction's Naughty or Nice collection.
Another line of figures, a company that's just pumping out some stuff too. It's just like awesome to see all these independent toy companies. Like you said, it's just that like circle where everybody's helping everybody out. Everybody wants to succeed and help everybody succeed, and it's awesome. I mean, even Super Action stuff out there making the effects and stuff. I don't know if you ever
for sure. I have some of them.
and like that Casket of Cruelty, when he released that, I was just like, man,
Oh yeah,
mind was blown.
instantly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got the Sarge. Yeah, I got. I just got classic this round, and one of each of the elves and the nutcrackers.
I think I'm gonna get the pirate one next.
Yeah, I saw Fwoosh do a review of that, and that kind of had me on the fence a little bit about it. I was thinking about getting it.
Give me that. Give me that.
Great with the Joes.
The bad Santa one and the one with the
Barbarian
with the axe. Yeah, with
Viking,
like yeah.
That was one of the quickest pre-orders I think I've ever done. Was the lumberjack Santa? I was like, oh yeah, sold.
Yeah,
and they actually added like the Viking tattoos were like snowflakes and stuff. I was like, come on, you guys, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we've it's such a cool community to be a part of. Like, and that's the thing too. We tell people all the time, like, if you have questions, just shoot us an email, shoot us, a message on Instagram, Facebook. Like, we've had people that, have come to us with questions about how to start their own line. But we've also, because we're a design company, so we have, 3D printers, we offer consultation services. We've helped people design their figures and stuff. And we have some cool projects in the works right now, working with some big people. So it's just, it's a constant wheel in motion of things that we have going.
And then Chris was asking, how many issues will you be doing of the comic books?
I mean, as many as we can get out. That's the thing. My wife, who's a writer, she's an author, who helped storyboard everything. We have the first 2 up at the Kickstarter right now. But in terms of issues and the story, we have, I think, 4 overall arcs. And within those, there will probably be like 5 or 6 issues. So we've got a long comic series lined up if we can get it done. It's not just going to be like 2 and then wait a couple, months or a year or 2 years and then issue 3 comes out. Like, we want to get this started and then trickle them out, steadily.
How cool would it be, like a subscription service, like back in the day, like Scholastic, like those wildlife magazines and stuff that kids used to get, like having a subscription to where, the Zoo Books. Having that as a comic where you got your comic, every month or whatever, however you guys can do it.
Yeah,
that may not be a bad idea.
Yeah, we got scripts done, we got storyboards. It's literally just getting it done and pressing go, and it goes out. Like this,
probably assuming so many come out, then you guys form it into like a trade. So many come out, trade, like the normal type of.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And Ski Raider says the line is great. It will do well.
Oh, thank you.
And Ted wants to know, what's the timeline on Future Waves?
Future Waves, yeah. So right now, like I said at the beginning, if you're just coming in, we're pretty much booked for at least 1 convention every month this year. So the goal is, get Wave 1 into all of those conventions and just get it out into the market, flood it out, and probably start taking pre-orders somewhere around like the spring or summer for Wave 2.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of what we're thinking. But we're getting into the headspace of convention mode. So we're planning on going and just traveling up and down, the East Coast and going to different shows, getting them into people's hands, getting that feedback. And that'll kind of take us into Wave 2 and comics. So
nice. Canuck said just backed 150 pledge level, looks great.
Oh, thank you very much. All right.
That's what I said.
Now you only need 1,300 more dollars.
There we go. Cheers.
It's a good start for a comic book, Chris says. But no, man, I think you guys got something going on there. Especially, I mean, your household being full of artists in a sense. You got your wife's an author, you do the design stuff, and it's a great environment for something like this to come out of.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to see you guys succeeding. Like, that's always really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
The fact you're getting into even like schools and like art classes, like I couldn't even imagine like as a kid being like, all right, somebody came in here with these blank figures, I can create my own. Like,
yeah. And that was that was so cool for me, that my art teacher asked me to come to kind of oversee one of her classes, because I just went there and I saw it was all girls too, mind you. It was all little girls who were there.
wow.
And I walked in, and my first thought was, let's see if they're interested. Let's see what the questions they have. Like I was really curious. Like I was kind of like excited about it. I was like, oh, awesome. Like let's see. And they were so awesome with their questions. Like one of them has a 3D printer, or a couple of them did. So she was asking questions about not just 3D printing, but about business. And she was asking about like getting files. Like, how do I get files and how can I sell them?
How old were the kids?
I mean, I think they were like in, it's like 9, 10, 11, around there.
Wow.
Wow.
And I was like, well, you go to this website, your mom can buy this file for free, or she can pay $2. She can get this, and then you can print it and you can sell it. Like it's yours. And just all of their questions were so meaningful. And then they saw the figures and the artwork, and I was kind of like, I didn't know if they were going to be interested in this design, and I was blown away. They were like one was like posing it and like moving it around, and she was like, "Whoa, look at the hips! He can do splits and he can do all these things." And then they got the weapons, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it was so cool, and they were really excited when I took out the box of parts and I asked them to paint them, because they had the paint pen, the paint markers. So they were just like kind of squibbling on them and then filling them in. One girl who was obsessed with like Wednesday, she was doing this like dark kind of outer spacey motif on them, and they were just excited. Like I was thinking about it, like how that could inspire them to go into making their own designs, their own toys one day, keeping up with art, that was really important to do, for sure. It was cool to see.
That is awesome. And, to be able to be invited to that. I wish more art classes were out there like that. I mean, art in general, like that was the class I always looked forward to in, high school, middle school and stuff like that. I mean, in high school, I think I hung out in the art room more than anything. It's like, oh, do we want to go to this this assembly or something? Nah. Cool if I chill in the art room, sure.
Yeah.
Just like, unlimited access to art supplies and resources, and just
that was my best performing class. that was consistently on every report that I would get. Like my mom would, well, at least you got an A in art, so that's
Yeah, I remember in middle school, it had to have been it was middle school. A kid was going to pay me to do his art project when we were in class, and then the art teacher at the time had the nerve to, she's like, did he do this for you? I'm like, wait, what? I was like, did he do that for me? Because our stuff was similar. I wasn't too crafty at making them look too different, but I was like, no, what are you talking about? I think he paid me like $5 or $10 or something like that. And I was like, back then I was like, man, that's I can
business savvy
figure. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, it's like I wish art classes in schools got a little bit more recognition than what they do,
for sure.
I mean, the creative minds are what's helping keep stuff afloat. That's how we're going to get new designs of stuff. It's created by an artist. An artist has to design it.
Yeah, that's what's fueled us over the years is, just going back to what we know, and that's art, like sketching at the core of it. Like that's what this company was built on, was art and designs and, doing all those things and then getting our own stuff out there, but at the same time, giving it away, giving it back to the art community. So being able to help people and answer questions, DMing us and, like going to the art school and stuff like that, stuff that we really are passionate about because we want to give that back.
Nice. And then Ammo to go jumping in, and he was saying he just wanted to show a little love. Hope you guys have a great night. He says he'll catch the replay later. Appreciate that, Ammo.
Thank you.
He's been working. I hit him up. I sent my little the story in Instagram. He's like, man, I can't. I'm working. I'm like, no, dude, I just send it to everybody. I was like, I don't expect you to be forced.
No pressure.
My show. Right.
You have to be.
Yeah.
Now, Josh, I mean, you got any questions for Joe, or you just sort of been anything that
I just like listening to his journey through all this and his success, and I don't know. I like watching documentaries and shit, so I like to listen to what he has to say. It's really it's interesting, you know, how like he met, you know, his best friend in college, and they just made this thing, and it's just a thing now. Like that's really interesting that, you know, that you can do that. And I love the figures. The figures are great. Can't wait for wave 2.
Thank you.
And like I said, I'll get in touch with you because I would like to have these in Colorado so other people can.
Yeah.
I feel like people that like go to these conventions, they'd be really interested in this stuff, but they don't know it exists.
Yeah.
You know, because like where I live, even in the city that has the con, they don't have like there's not toy stores or anything like that where they can get stuff like this. So, I mean, yeah. And
no, for sure. I'd love to. That's something I tell people all the time too. Like when they ask us about like how everything came out and, you know, how James and I met and how the line kind of and the company formed. It's the same thing. I tell people, you know, if you have an idea, anybody can do anything as long as you have an idea. Like there's really like, you know, there's other things involved. Obviously, you know, there's funding involved, there's tooling, there's, you know, labor and all those things involved. But at the core of it, like if you just have an idea, just do it. Like just go, like what's, you know, there are so many things that you can do that, you know, nobody else might be doing, or somebody might be doing it differently, but you're going to present it your way. Like,
well, I mean, that's another reason why it's nice to listen to what you have to say is, you know, me, the Toy Talk guys, and even Art have even started. I've come up with an idea. Me and the other guys came up with an idea for a toy line. So we've kind of started that. It's going to be a slow ass process, but
yeah, he hit me up and he was like, "You want to do this?" And I'm like, "It's going to be a lot of work, but okay."
You got any questions? Let us know. Like we can, you know, help you out. Like we, for sure.
There'll be plenty of
the design process. He gave me some characters, and he's like, "All right, let's start with the 360s." And I'm like, "Oh man, the dreaded 360s of drawing."
360,
yeah.
But see, I loved as a traditional designer, like as a sketch artist, like that was my favorite thing was doing profiles for people. Like you give me an idea or like a prompt and I would just do it. And I love doing like the front, back, side and just seeing this entire character like 2D, but really in my head, you're seeing it 3D.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
like I took one of those AI art generators and just put my ideas into that. And then got something from that I liked eventually, and then I just gave that to Art and was like, "Hey, this is kind of where we want to go with it."
And I don't care. I'm doing it my way, or it's the highway. But no, it's cool because, you know, I mean, dealing with somebody like Josh, it's like he's very open to my artistic input, but then he has a vision as well, and I'm not gonna not do his vision. So it's like that collab and what you mix together is awesome.
Yeah, even if we don't make a figure, it's fun to do with each other anyway. So
yeah, and you never know with that whole creative mind and creative process for anybody out there. You might get lucky and find that guy that just, or that the people that just have this wealth that they're like, "We like your idea. Here you go." Yeah. You know, like it is possible.
Yeah,
there's people that just have money that just they're doing nothing with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's also one of the things that's kept, in a weird way, has motivated us over the years. Is, you know, we always had that idea in the back of our heads, like this could hit big, like we could get a buyout, we could do all these things, or it could not work out. But at the end of the day, there are always new ideas that we can go to that we always have laid out. So, like, even if you shoot your shot and you get one figure, that's one more figure than the next guy who just has the idea but didn't act on it.
Well, that's
So-
the kind of realization I've come to. Like, I want to do 4 different figures, whatever. But then I got to thinking about it. I was like, let me just do one. Just do one. I'll make, we'll do one figure, get one figure out. If people like that, then we'll go from there.
I'm pushing them for 2, but just have the good and the bad guy. Have them both. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, you gotta have the foils at least.
Well, they can come in next wave.
I mean, but that's the other thing too. Like with our first Kickstarter, it failed. Like we weren't successful, and we realized, some of the faults that were there and what we had to do. We had to go back to the drawing board, and we were like throwing it around. Okay, do we want to do another one? And the same thing, we get as many characters out as possible at once, or play it safe and start small and world build and get these characters out that we can reuse and use designs with and build on that. So you had to go back, and at the end of the day, if wave 1 was all that we had, we would be proud of it because we know what went into it. We know the feedback we got from the fans. So, every step of it, we were thinking about.
Everybody I talked to with Star Dusk figures, they love them. They're like, this figure's great. Like, I have fun with this figure. Yeah, I got a lot of friends that do photos with them. So
yeah, the photos we see are awesome.
Yeah, I was just thinking of so many different things. I'm like, man, add magnets to their feet, like those old school.
Yeah.
I don't remember. There are these '80s little toys. They're like this big, and they have magnets in their feet, and they're like little sci-fi guys. And I was like, man, if they had magnets in their feet, that'd even take it to even a different level. Like, there's just so much stuff when I was messing with them. I'm like, man,
that NASA, I can't remember the name. I'm gonna fuck it up. The NASA toy company. They made the robot.
Oh yeah.
They put suction cups on the feet.
Yeah.
I want those just so I can have them like vertical on my wall.
Suction cups will give, man. I did that light stand from NECA with my Archangel Marvel Legend in a DTOF, and it seemed like every time it'd stay up there for a while, and next thing you know, I hear clunk, and then he just came down. Maybe it's just because they might maybe using crappy suction cups.
That was like the Toy Biz back in the day when they had the Marvel license and they did like the wall crawling like Spider-Man with the suction cups. I used to have those. Yeah.
Toy Biz days where you got your dollar's worth.
Oh, that was just a free for all when Toy Biz had all those different just everything. Like that's what that's the toy that I want back. That's like the era of like KB Toys where just went in and it was just.
And are you talking about like Toy Biz like 5.0 articulation Toy Biz? Like that, well, I guess they're a little bit more because some elbows could bend, but that era, or are you talking about like Toy Biz where they got into the like actual Marvel Legends, like bigger, like small scale?
A little bit of both, but for me, nostalgia purposes, I remember the Marvel, like the classics line, like the Wolverine with the elbow joint and the claws that would like warp over time, and those were the ones that I had a bunch of that I remember vividly going to KB Toys, and there was like the 5 for $3 bundle, in the crate that you could go and just dig them out.
God, I remember KB Toys as a kid. That was
better than Toys R Us sometimes for me.
Sometimes,
KB was just like in the mall, wall-to-wall toys. Like that's all it was. It was crazy.
And they were cheap too. They were always stuff on clearance. And then after that, you can stumble over to like an Aladdin's Castle arcade that's usually right next door to it. And like, all that stuff is just. I miss it. Now it's like. As an adult, I'll go to if I go to a mall, I'll check out Hot Topic and Spencer's, and that's really it. Like there's not.
Well, Joe's the only one on this stream that could fit into anything at fucking Hot Topic anyway.
I do still have my skinny jeans from high school from there, so.
Like, I like a bunch of shirts that they carry, but I always tell the lady, I'm like, "Where's the fat guy stuff?"
Man, it's when they started changing to that athletic fit. I was like, "Come on!"
Yeah,
I was like, I got this awesome shirt my size, and then it was like athletic fit, and I'm like, "Son of a!" I look like a freaking sausage. Like,
where's the love handle size? Like, where's that?
So.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the figures. We just all that nostalgia came back to us as we were putting it in, like all of those arcade games and KB Toys and Toy Biz, the bright colors, like that's what we loved. Like that was what got us into it. So
I mean, don't lose that spark, man. I mean, I think that passion and that fire right there is what leads to success.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I've noticed about these small toy guys, the guys like you and Bobby, and making, nobody is stepping on anybody else's toes with what they're making. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
They're all trying to be different. That way, everybody can be successful. I think that's really cool. So
Yeah.
It's time for these big companies to go to sleep and let some new guys, the new kids on the block come up,
Yeah.
All I'm hoping for, I hope everybody's able to sell to Mattel and Hasbro, and then just go on vacation for the rest of your life.
Well, that would be nice too.
That would be nice too. Yeah. I mean, don't want to, I definitely still need my Hasbro figures. So I don't want them to...
Yeah. I was thinking, I'm like, I'm a Joe fan. So I was like, I need my Joes.
And Mr. Stevie too, Steve Evans. We met him a couple times. And at ToyCon we met him, and so he actually handled one of our first product samples that we had a couple years ago, and it was like super fragile, and he was like testing it and doing all these things, and James and I were both staring like, please don't break, please do not break. This guy's like Hasbro, like God, like Transformers, Star Wars. Like I said to him, like, I own so many of the figures you helped put out. It's crazy. And then at ToyCon last time, he saw like the exclusive of the bounty hunter, and he was like, "Oh, this looks familiar." James and I were like, "Really? What does it look like?"
That's weird. It's all.
But he was super cool. He was super cool.
Well, Ted said he had the dip, and he said he'll be in touch. So he's probably gonna hit you up over Instagram.
Yeah.
But, seemed like that the question sort of died out. So I mean, we can end it here. We've been sort of going for an hour and a half,
Nice.
And I mean, do you have anything that you want to say before we call it a night?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Not a problem. It's our pleasure to have you
Yeah.
on, man. And we'll definitely be having you on again as more stuff comes out. And anytime you want to, just hit me up.
Awesome.
But, for everybody else who's watching on the replay, anything like that, you can find me on my channel doing my reviews. Say the Art is also live every Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check that out. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, because I mean it helps the channel evolve and grow. And make sure you share it with your friends and stuff. We're close to 4K. Once I hit 4K, we're gonna be doing a giveaway. So definitely show some love there. And Josh, where can they find you?
I'm here.
You can find Josh Toy Talk.
Here on Wednesdays, then Mondays we got Toy Talk. You can always find me on Instagram. This name on the screen here, Cox Create. Yeah.
And then most importantly, I'll have all the information for Fox Forge Toys. I'll have their Instagram, their website, all that stuff down below. Their Kickstarter, especially. I think we could definitely help make that 4,500 goal. We should be able to make that happen.
$1,300 more now.
So show some love, show some support. And as I tell you guys with all my videos and all my streams, I want you guys to have the best luck hunting. Keep on collecting. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.